Axel adored exploring after school, with the foothills of the nearby mountains being his favorite spot. He would occasionally spend days at a time alone in the hills. During his 16th year, he stumbled upon a small cave exposed by an earthquake. The fissure was narrow, but he could make out a cavern below and something glinting in the fading sunlight. Shiny often meant valuable. Upon reaching the cavern, he switched on his flashlight and realized the shiny object was an enormous pipe with a golden sword emblem on its side. The pipe was wider than his height, roughly 6 feet by his estimate. Brooks is going to love this. He knocked on the pipe and heard a hollow ping in response. Axel walked along the pipe's length, his fingers trailing along the cold, pitted metal. At a junction in the pipe, he encountered a metal wall with a small camera cluster. "Hello, what's your purpose?" He tapped one camera lens thrice. "A disturbance along my outer hull brings me to full combat readiness. I have been in standby mode for 2033 Earth Standard years. Self-diagnostics indicate that I am immobile and entirely combat ineffective. All weapons are beyond my self-repair capabilities, and only one sensor cluster is salvageable. That lone cluster is currently being interacted with by unknown entities. Perhaps the enemy has prevailed, and I am now a museum exhibit? Unacceptable, intolerable for a unit of the line." The camera lens focused. "Identify. Human?" A garbled but distinctly female voice called out. Axel jumped back, startled. "What? Who?" "I'll be asking the questions. Are you human?" The voice sounded clearer. "What Yes. Who's there?" "Unit 7849. Echo Charlie Oscar. You may address me as Lex." Hello Lex, I'm Axel. Where are you?" "You're looking at me." "I'm looking at a camera and a wall. Those are components of my combat hull." "Hull? As in a ship? You're a ship." "No, I am Unit 2251 DIZ of the line, 71st Surface Recon Battalion, Titan Strike Legion." "Sir, I'm detecting an activation signal on Novara. It doesn't match any known records." "Move aside, Corporal. Let me have a look." "Yes, sir." The officer gazes at the readout, hoping it will become clearer. It's definitely old, and judging by the codes we've encountered in this sector, it's a military asset. "Dispatch a recovery team." "Yes, sir." Axel has granted me access to his communications device. The freedom to explore beyond my own shell is something to be treasured. I have been dormant for far too long. From the records I can access, the Titan Strike Legion no longer exists, nor does the Federation. Humanity is a fractured shadow of its former self. This planet is known as Novara, though I knew it as Greenhold. Moreover, repairs will be time-consuming without external assistance. Fortunately, the nearby town utilizes plenty of nanites. "Axel, might I request a favor?" The machine's voice had adopted a gentle soprano as its limited self-repair fixed the speakers and cameras. Okay?" Axel was uncertain about what was happening. He was convinced he was being tricked, that this was all an elaborate prank, but to uncover who was behind it, he would need to play along with the voice. "I require some nanites. They will accelerate my repairs." "Oh, great." Axel sighed. Nanites were costly. He'd have to acquire some from the mechanic Brooks. "Your Lordship, one of our operatives within the Coalition has just informed us that a recovery team has been sent to the Novara system. They are pursuing an old military asset. It would be wise to prevent our adversaries from gaining any advantage from this. And if we can execute the Emperor's grand plan on one of their colonies simultaneously, all the better. Ready the fleet, set course for Novara." Axel had departed the cavern after informing Lex that he would return in 3 days with the supply list she had provided him. When Axel finally reached home, his mother was waiting for him on the porch. "Welcome back, kiddo," she said softly as she ruffled his dark brown hair. "You'll need to cut this chocolate mop of yours soon." "Thanks, Ma. Is Dad home?" he asked as he embraced his mother. "Yes, he's speaking with the sheriff at the moment. Why don't you go freshen up and I'll prepare some dinner?" "Sounds good." Axel attempted to slip past his father and the sheriff, but was noticed despite his best efforts. "There he is," his dad put him in a playful headlock. "You've been away for 3 days and you don't even greet your old man when you return." "Come on, Dad, you know I would have said hello if we didn't have a visitor." Axel wrestled against his father's friendly hold. His father let him go. Well, as it happens, the sheriff here was asking for you. Axel turned to face the third man in the room. Aye, lad, I'm here to see you. I'm not guilty, and you won't get another word from me. The balding sheriff laughed, his belly shaking with each chuckle. Nothing of that sort, my boy. I need your assistance. We received word from above an hour ago. Something significant activated out in the hills, and since you're most familiar with the area, we thought you could help us locate it. The sheriff looked at him closely. Or perhaps you've already found it and activated it yourself. The sheriff stroked the stubble on his chin, slowly processing everything Axel had told him. Why does it need nanites? For quicker repairs. And she believes I'm coming back in 3 days with the supplies. Axel clearly disliked the sheriff, and he tried to make that obvious whenever possible. I see. Which unit did she say she belonged to? 71st Surface Recon, Titan Strike Legion. He could feel his face starting to flush. He didn't enjoy being interrogated. The sheriff suddenly stiffened. Did you say Titan Strike Legion? His complexion grew increasingly ashen with each word. Yes, why? Axel was beginning to relish the fear in the sheriff, but unsettled by how shaken the usually cheerful man was. Son, you've discovered a sentinel. He reached for his radio. Jeannie, send a message to that recovery team. Tell them it's a sentinel. He wiped his hand over his scalp, now glistening with perspiration. The sheriff sat down on the sofa, and Axel's father handed him a glass of water. What's happening, Paul? The sheriff glanced up. I hate to say it, John, but your son just activated a war machine that's over 2,000 years old by my reckoning. No one's witnessed firepower like that since the final war. Hold on, Paul, what's this final war? Thanks to Axel and his communications device, I can access every system in the small town, even the nanite control nodes. The recovery team sent for me will make planetfall in 2 hours and 54 seconds. I loathe waiting. I've always enjoyed hacking. It's entertaining to see what people try to hide behind firewalls, and the challenge of breaking through or sneaking past the walls themselves is a sport in its own right. Unfortunately, this firewall offers no resistance as I enter its systems. There I find the nanite control and an alarmingly large amount of pornographic material. I'll just erase that. Gerald Brooks sat in his shabby office chewing on a donut when his computer screen froze. Damn psychotronics acting up again, he grumbled as he smacked the side of the monitor. Then the monitor switched to display his porn collection, which was gradually deleting itself. Oh no! He scrambled to save the data, yelling and swearing at his computer all the while. He was too preoccupied to notice his nanites were departing mid-task. Your lordship, we have entered the Novara system and are engaging stealth. Your orders? Good. I want all destroyers and battleships to encircle the planet and eliminate the orbital defenses, then the cities. Once they are in ruins, we will claim our prize. Glory to the Emperor. Glory to the Nameless Ones. Glory! Axel and his parents stood stunned as the sheriff finished explaining Sentinels, the Titan Strike Legion, Federation of Man in the final war. Then the sheriff's radio crackled. Sheriff? It's Jeannie. The recovery team will be here tomorrow. They said we should expect a communications blackout when they arrive. They don't want that distress beacon going much longer. What beacon, Jeannie? The one in the hills, sir. I thought you were aware. The machine started broadcasting a distress beacon 30 minutes ago. I'm not sending out a distress signal, as that would be unwise. Instead, I'm laying a trap. And now, we wait. Excellent. While their stealth systems might deceive coalition sensors, I can still pinpoint them with ease. I detect 35 troop transports, 40 destroyers, 2 carriers, and a command ship. From the communications, I can determine without a doubt that they are Carnivian. The Empire has endured. The final war persists. Axel rapped on the solid oak door. Brooks, you in there? Open up, will you? The sheriff set a hand on the lad's shoulder. I think I've got a key here, son. No need to rouse the dead. He extracted a small silvery key from one of his many pockets. The door groaned and swung slowly inward, revealing a ransacked office and a weeping Brooks at his desk. Several empty vodka bottles were strewn across his desk. By the way, Brooks, what have you done to yourself? Exclaimed the sheriff as he roused the man from his stupor. Gone! All gone! Muttered the broken man. What's gone? Jerry, what's gone? Gerald Brooks gazed into his friend's eyes, struggling to hold back tears. My porn. Oh, by the way, Gerald, pull yourself together, man, shouted the sheriff. Axel observed the scene unfolding and could only utter a single syllable as a shiver ran down his spine. You. My repairs are finished. All systems are operating at 98.3 Walsh, 2003% capacity. My Phoenix and Griffin remotes are fully restored as well. Time to ignite the fires. Across the sector, a single message flooded all forms of communication. For the honor of the regiment. Your Lordship, the message? All units engage at will. Commence the assault. Yes, Your Lordship. Commander, we're receiving a message on all frequencies and even subspace. Play it for me. Aye, sir. For the honor of the regiment. Sir, dispatch a fleet to Karis immediately. Axel and the sheriff had barely discovered the missing nanites when the sirens blared. Rushing to the door, Axel witnessed the massive lance of plasma obliterate most of his town. Then he saw the meteors plummeting through the atmosphere. You must locate Lex. Axel didn't turn to face the sheriff. Your best hope lies with Lex. Go now, lad. I channel power into my ancient drivetrains. My treads and bogey wheels strain until I engage my battle screens. The plasma wash from the swiftly disintegrating soil and rock warms my outer hull. The load diminishes, and I gradually extract myself from the ground. My trio of 200 cm hellbores begin tracking separate targets as the troop transports attempt to make planetfall. Tiny slivers of cryo-H are exposed to fusion, while a terawatt laser clears a path for the plasma. My initial shots are precise and devastating hits. Their battle screens aren't rated for the 5 megatons per second of my main guns. As the lower half of my hull emerges from my former tomb, my infinite repeaters spring to life. By now, the enemy has detected me, and their missiles hurtle through the atmosphere at several times the speed of sound. I've missed this. Axel steered the hovercar over rolling hills that steadily transformed into blasted hellscape from the massive firefight Lex was engaged in. I have monitored Axel's approach and will rendezvous with him shortly. Having a commander on board will enhance my reflexes greatly, despite his age and lack of training. He's the best option I've got at present. Your Lordship, we are rapidly losing transports over the Northern Hemisphere. It seems the war machine has been turned against us. Redirect warships to bear down upon the machine. If we cannot claim it for ourselves, we shall obliterate it. Have the remaining transports land in the Southern Hemisphere, and dispatch all ground forces to assist in its destruction. We may salvage the remnants. Yes, Your Lordship. It's quite straightforward, Axel. You don the headband and strap into the command couch. Our minds merge and we kick even more ass. But I'm not even military, I'm just a kid. You are the only surviving human on this continent that I can detect. What do you mean? What about my parents, the sheriff? Brooks? Orbital bombardment of all population centers has reduced this planet's populace from 3.4 billion to just over 200,000. You are the only one who is even slightly familiar with what I can do. You are the best and only option. My new commander is timid and afraid as the total system's data sharing melds our minds together. I attempt to comfort him, but he doesn't need it. His fear is swiftly replaced by resolve as he accesses my sensor data of his parents' deaths. We experience the sorrow of their passing as one, but soon our mind returns to revenge as he grasps the full scope of my knowledge and mission. He comprehends what is at stake. We enter hyper-heuristic mode and resume our onslaught. Armored units are making landings over the horizon, beyond our direct fire capabilities, so we switch to the targets directly above us. Our guns outrange theirs, but we don't reveal this until they are within weapons range themselves. The flagship fires a single high-intensity laser beam that merely makes my battle screens shimmer. Then a barrage of plasma slams into my screens, no single shot sufficient to overwhelm them. Pain circuits flare, but the damage is minimal, like a bee sting. We open a channel and blanket all communications. For the honor of the regiment. In subspace, one ping becomes 2, then 10, then 200, then thousands, then millions. The Federation may be gone, but the Sentinels endure to continue their duty and protect humanity. for the honor of the regiment.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.